11 dead and 6 injured, 5 of them critically. This is the tragic outcome of the shooting in Örebro, Sweden. Authorities say that the gunman is among the victims. His motives are not known. Swedish authorities say that this is the worst mass shooting in the country's history. It comes just days after the publication of grim statistics on bomb explosions and shootings, which hit a record high in January. A large school campus with facilities for both adults and children. This is where the assailant appeared yesterday afternoon with a rifle in his hands. The guy next to me was shot in the shoulder. He was bleeding a lot. I looked behind me and saw 3 people bleeding on the ground. They were all in shock. They were shouting, "Run, run!" Me and my friend tried to save the man's life. People were in shock. There was no police or ambulance on the scene. It was chaos. The forces arriving on the scene did not know how many attackers there were, what they looked like, or what they were armed with.
We heard loud bangs, and first we thought people were fighting outside, and maybe, I don't know, throwing chairs and tables. And then we heard people screaming, and then people in my class, they realized that, something is wrong here.
The operation took several hours. The gunman took his own life. A rifle and ammunition were found on his body. We are continuing with an intensive investigation to understand the circumstances of the attack and to see if other people were involved. Our aim is to conduct a solid investigation. It is important that we receive information, photos, videos, and other details that can help us in our investigation. The police have no clue as to the motive, although terrorism has been ruled out. The identity of the perpetrator is also unknown, and it is not known whether he was a Swedish citizen or a foreigner. Most of the victims were students at a language school for adults. Darkness has fallen over Sweden. It is with deep sadness that we have received the news from the police that about 10 people have been killed and several injured in the school shooting in Örebro. What was not supposed to happen has now happened in Sweden. Regardless of the perpetrator's motive, Sweden has been showing signs of a growing problem with violence for years. Last month broke records. There was an average of 1 bomb attack a day. 317 acts of terrorism were recorded in 2024. Immigrant gangs are said to be largely responsible for the attacks, hence Sweden's sharp U-turn on asylum policy, which the authorities now admit was a mistake. I believe that the rate must continue to fall, and above all, I believe that the changes we have made must be permanent. It is clear that we currently have a historically low asylum rate, but compare this with a few years ago when it was at a very high level, so high that we were not able to successfully integrate these new arrivals. This has led to the creation of immigrant enclaves in the middle of Swedish cities. No-go zones, zones where even the police are afraid to intervene. Today, in addition to changes in asylum law, Sweden faces the much more serious challenge of fighting such armed and dangerous gangs.